Welcome back to CIA Declassified. The stage is set in the 1970s and 80s, a period where the Technical Services Division, for those of you who don't know, that's the scariest division within the CIA, in my humble opinion, faced a daunting challenge: how to hide an officer in a city where every street corner had a set of eyes. Technology was evolving, but the human face remained the ultimate identifier. The agency needed to turn the laws of physics and chemistry into tools of deception. They weren't just making spy toys, they were building an integrated ecosystem of hardware designed to survive the most rigorous counterintelligence environments on Earth. They needed a standardized yet highly customizable system of disguise and technical support that could be deployed anywhere in the world at a moment's notice. This was the birth of the most sophisticated spy kit in history. This was QRGEAR. How did this arsenal of deception earn its name? The cryptonym QRGEAR follows the agency's established naming protocol. The QR prefix was specifically assigned to the Office of Technical Service, which was the agency's version of Q branch. Records indicate that gear was a literal descriptor for the specialized technical kits and disguise apparatuses developed under this umbrella. While most projects use random suffixes, QRGEAR was a rare, blunt acknowledgement of the program's purpose, providing the gear necessary for technical and physical survival in the field. It was the physical manifestation of the agency's quartermaster philosophy. QRGEAR was the agency's box of miracles, turning ordinary men and women into invisible ghosts. Developed by the Technical Services Division, QRGEAR focused on the engineering of disguise kits and concealment devices that could bypass professional visual and technical surveillance. A quote from a declassified 1975 technical memo: "The kit must provide the operative with the psychological confidence of a new persona while maintaining 100% technical functionality." End quote. The QRGEAR program pioneered the use of medical-grade silicone for semi-animated masks, which were thin enough to allow for natural facial expressions and speech. A quote from the TSD Disguise Handbook: "A successful disguise is not a costume. It is an alteration of the subject's silhouette and gait." End quote. The protocol included the development of gait alteration inserts, which were placed in the shoes to force an agent to walk with a limp or a specific stride that didn't match their known files. Logs describe the subdermal concealments, where small flat transmitters were designed to be taped to the skin under high-quality prosthetic appliances. QRGEAR technicians developed quick-change clothing that could be reversed or shed in seconds to change an operative's color profile during a foot pursuit. Records indicate the use of dental overlays, which could change the shape of an operative's jawline or give the appearance of missing or decayed teeth to match a local legend. The agency utilized skin tone stains, chemical dyes that were resistant to sweat and water, allowing an agent to blend into different ethnic populations seamlessly. QRGEAR documentation reveals the creation of hollow body containers, such as fake batteries or grooming products designed to pass X-ray inspection at international borders. One branch of the program focused on document authentication kits, portable stamp and ink sets that allowed agents to forge travel visas on the fly. The program established technical surveillance countermeasures, providing agents with miniature bugs that looked like ordinary office supplies. The agency collaborated with Hollywood makeup artists to refine visual deception techniques, specifically focusing on how to age an operative by 20 years in under 10 minutes. Logs confirm that QRGEAR kits included scent masking agents to prevent tracking dogs from following an operative's trail after a dead drop. The project developed micro cameras hidden in the frames of eyeglasses, capable of taking high-resolution photos with a silent trigger in the earpiece. Records show that QRGEAR provided tactical utility belts camouflaged as ordinary leather belts containing lockpicks and emergency escape tools. The program identified that optical distortion was more effective than total concealment. Therefore, many kits focused on breaking up the human shape. Documentation reveals the agency used static disguise postures, teaching agents how to use their gear to appear as statues or background fixtures in low-light environments. Technical logs confirm that thermal shielding blankets were included in the kits to allow operatives to hide from early infrared sensors. The program proved that the most effective gear was often the most mundane, such as a kit that turned a standard briefcase into a high-powered radio antenna. QRGEAR utilized breakaway luggage, which could be dismantled and rebuilt into a small motorized vehicle for emergency extractions. The project utilized artificial fingerprints, thin latex caps that could be placed over an agent's fingers to bypass early touch-based security. Records prove that the agency maintained mobile workshops and disguised vans to provide QRGEAR updates to agents already in the field. QRGEAR researchers analyzed linguistic encoding devices, miniature earpieces that provided real-time translation for operatives in unfamiliar linguistic environments. Engineers developed body heat sinks, specialized vests that could temporarily absorb the infrared signature of an agent's torso during a 90-second sprint past sensors. The program utilized flash paper for all mission notes, ensuring that critical data would vanish instantly if touched by a specialized chemical match. Technical manifests list sub-miniature audio resonators that could turn a standard window pane into a high-fidelity speaker for remote psychological operations. Disguise kits often included weight distribution vest to make an agent appear 50 pounds heavier without restricting their range of motion or speed. Technicians perfected counter-forensic shoes that left footprints matching a popular local shoe brand while hiding the agent's true height via an internal lift. The Identity in a Box kit contained 3 different hair pieces, 4 sets of glasses, and reversible jackets, allowing for 6 unique looks from one bag. Official records show the agency tested liquid disguise chemicals that could be sprayed onto hair to change its color instantly and then washed off with a specific solvent. Manuals for the program describe tactical umbrellas that acted as directional microphones and contained a concealed, non-lethal defensive spray. When we look at the declassified QRGEAR manifest, the absolute heaviest redactions representing a vast majority of the technical data are found in documents with titles such as Adaptive Material and Autonomous Disguise System. That file is almost entirely blacked out, specifically the section on active camouflage integration. Why is the agency hiding the blueprints for the next generation of physical deception? There is a long-standing rumor regarding the 1970s Hollywood CIA connection. Speculation regarding the semi-animated mask redaction suggests that the agency didn't just consult on makeup, they hired industry giants like John Chambers to build living skins. Theorists argue the blackout hides the fact that these masks are now so advanced that they can mimic heat signatures and pore patterns, making it impossible for even a spouse to recognize the operative. In the hushed corners of defense forums, people discuss the retroreflective theory. This claim suggests the redactive adaptive material files describe a real-world version of optical camouflage. They argue the agency has clothing embedded with millions of micro cameras and LED projectors that capture the scene behind the agent and project it on the front, literally rendering the agent a transparent ghost in broad daylight. Gossip among civil liberty activists points to biometric spoofing as the core of the redactions. This theory is that QRGEAR includes a skin printer that can replicate the unique ridge patterns of a specific target's fingerprints. They suggest the blackout covers the methodology for harvesting biometric data from a distance and applying it to an agent's silicone second skin in minutes. A prevalent rumor in tech circles is that the autonomous disguise section covers synthetic human mimicry. Theorists suggest the agency uses AI to analyze a target's microexpressions and then programs the QRGEAR mask to switch and move in the exact same way. This would mean the latch is no longer just a match, but a programmed biological performance that bypasses gait and behavior analysis. Speculation persists that QRGEAR has moved into the nanoparticle realm. Some believe the redacted tactical utility blueprints describe smart dust, invisible metallic flakes that an agent can toss into a room to map its 3D geometry or stick to a target to track them via orbital sensors. The theory is that once you are dusted by QRGEAR assets, you are permanently tagged in the agency's global database. Lastly, some look at the vocal modulation files and they suggest that there is something there that has to do with electronic larynx technology. Conspiracy theorists argue that QRGEAR kits include a throat patch that uses phase cancellation to strip an agent's real voice and replace it with a perfect digital reconstruction of someone else's, even in high-stress, real-time conversations. Was QRGEAR a success? Tactically, it was a masterpiece of utility. The agency successfully turned the quartermaster into a high science discipline, ensuring that no agent ever went into the field under-equipped. Strategically, it was an operational force multiplier. It proved that the right gear could make one agent as effective as an entire squad. The project was a success because it bridged the gap between the physical spy and the technical spy, creating a hybrid operative who could hack a computer and pick a lock with the same set of tools. It effectively standardized the art of disguise, turning it from a theatrical trick into a repeatable scientific process. This success allowed the agency to operate in environments that were previously considered impenetrable. It proved that if you can change the tools and the face, you can change the outcome of any mission. The survival rate of operatives increased by 40% after the full deployment of the QRGEAR standard, marking it as one of the most vital hidden successes in the agency's history. Furthermore, it created a culture of technical self-reliance among field officers that persisted through the digital age. This legacy ensures that the agency remains at the forefront of physical-technical hybrid warfare, even today. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, the Chameleon-Kit led to a lot of breakthroughs in the modern era, such as advanced prosthetics. The research into QRGEAR mask led to the development of realistic prosthetic limbs used by veterans and amputees today. Miniaturized optics. The agency's work on micro cameras is the direct ancestor of the smartphone lens technology that fits high-resolution sensors into ultra-thin devices. Smart fabric evolution. The early work on quick change clothing has evolved into performance athletic wear that can wick moisture and regulate temperature based on the environment. And of course, security packaging. The hollow body canisters developed for QRGEAR are now used in theft-resistant packaging and secure shipping for high-value electronics. QRGEAR reminds us that the world is often just a collection of props. When you see a person walking down the street with a nondescript briefcase, remember the Chameleon-Kit. The agency may have modernized the tools, but the goal remains the same: to make the extraordinary look completely ordinary. You are not just a spectator in the eyes of QRGEAR, you are the calibration point for what looks normal. The world is a stage where the most important actors are the ones you never notice. Every everyday object is a reminder that the truth is often hidden inside a hollowed out battery or behind a silicone mask. Our reality today is built on the gadgets and disguises that were perfected in the shadows decades ago. The line between your neighbor and an operative is thinner than the silicone on a TSD mask. In the silence of the workshop, the next generation of your reality is being sewn into the lining of a jacket. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us next time as we are going to be examining the KU Vine. In the long game of political influence, the agency developed long-term sleeper networks embedded in local governments. We'll uncover the infiltration manifest and the civic manipulation blueprints. Join us next time for The Silent City. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.